Hello, Tipalik. Thank you for joining. I hope I didn't butcher your name. I'm sorry. My name is Ethel. I'm a spiritual life coach and mindset coach. I've been doing this for 8 years now. I specialize in healing at soul level. I'm very passionate about helping others heal because I know how programs can really distort how we view ourselves and how we view our lives and really life in general. So if you've been through any type of trauma, especially when we are kids, we are programmed to believe a certain way, right? So let's say I grew up in a household where I experienced a lot of mental and physical and emotional traumas. So what happened there is that I was programmed to believe less about myself. And so when we go through trauma like that, we have a certain way that we view everything in. So the trauma that we experience creates a frame of reference, and we view everything else based on what we know, right? Based on what life has shown us that it is. And so when we encounter new things in life, we always have to run it through the frame of reference that has been created for us. And so when I did my own healing, I began to strip away all the limitation and the negative false programming that I was programmed to believe about myself, and began to really dig deeper and understand who I am. Because when we are not bombarded or programmed by other people's negative programming, we can actually easily tap into our divine nature and begin to come from a place of authentic alignment. So I'm very passionate about helping especially women step into their power so that they can come from a place of authentic alignment and show the people in their lives that if they can heal, they can also help others heal. Other people can heal as well. When you heal yourself, you heal your life. You help the people in your life. You have such a beautiful relationship with the people in your life. They begin to see the divine being that you are, right? There is more to us than what has been programmed by, family members or maybe even society. Hi everyone, thank you for joining. Thank you, DJ Lejo. I appreciate you. Thank you. So we get when you know who you are at a deep level, you actually begin to be okay with showing up as the divine being that you are, right? We are all spiritual and we all have a unique, Jesus, what's the word? We have passions, right? We're here to first understand ourselves, understand who we are, and so we can, offer that to the world, like I mentioned. But it's not always easy, right? It's not always easy to heal whatever may be going on within us. It can be hard to go against the program, right? If you've been programmed to believe that you are less than you really are, and if that has been going on for years in your nervous system, in your body, it's sort of you become acclimated, you begin to accept that that's all that you are. Hello everyone, thank you for joining, thank you. But there is more to you than what the world shows you. So when you are serious about doing your own self-investigation and healing, you begin to sort of unplug from the false self-identity that has been programmed in you, and you begin to do investigative work about finding out just who you are and really being bold enough to go after what you want to create in the world. And this is the time that we are being called to really step into our power and begin to come from a place of authentic alignment. Because when you're not yourself, when you're coming from a negative program, you can feel it in your body. It doesn't feel great. It doesn't feel like that's who you are. It feels like something is missing. And the way that you know that you're not being yourself is when you have negative thoughts and feelings that just come up out of nowhere and you wonder, why am I feeling like this? I don't want to feel. Yeah, and that's a big thing, especially if you don't want to be feeling what's popping up in your mind and in your emotional body, that's an indicator that your soul is trying to communicate to you, to tell you, hey, it's time to change, it's time for you to step into who you are. This is not who you are. So when the negative thoughts comes up, thank you, Reverend Ramiro, thank you for joining, and Moon Sahostra, I'm so sorry, I hope I didn't butcher your name. Hi everyone, so just say hi as you're coming on and let me know where you are tuning in from. Thank you. So the emotions and the thoughts that we feel are just showing us where we need to heal, right? They are showing us that there's a program that doesn't fit with who you are. And so what we do oftentimes is that it's uncomfortable, but sometimes we are comfortable with that uncomfortable feeling because that's all we know. Maybe we've been thinking the same way and feeling the same sets of feelings and emotions for some time, like, for years. And so it's like we've created a relationship with these limiting thoughts and emotions. But your soul is not going to be okay with you taking that on as your truth, because your soul holds the divine truth of who you are. And so it brings your body and your nervous system will play these negative thoughts and feelings for some time. There's a battle there going on between your body and your nervous system and your soul. Your soul is like, this isn't it. And so this is why we feel all these negative feelings. It's because we are attempting to go against who we are. We are attempting to grasp onto a truth that is not part of your divine soul blueprint. This is a time that we're being called because there's a lot of things that are happening in the world, and we get programmed with so much fear to be in fear all the time. So it's like our bodies are not even our own. Like our nervous system, from what I see, it feels like and seems like it's not our own. When you look at the news, you watch the news, there's a lot of fear, propaganda, energies that are designed to do exactly that, to keep you in fear, to keep you limited, and to keep you away from your power. And when these begin to show up in your body, this is an indicator. This is also an indicator that the body is sending you these so that you can look at them and begin to correct them in your body. Because your body does not want to hold on to the trauma and, the feelings of unworthiness or not having confidence. It does not want to hold on to these feelings. And so it brings it up. So for you to look at it, address it, and release it or reintegrate a part of yourself that maybe you may have forgotten along the way, or power that has been abandoned and forgotten somewhere. Because when we're missing a part of ourselves, we're not whole at all. And so when we begin to reintegrate with parts of ourselves that maybe we may have severed by not knowing, actually, through these programs, not knowing. And so it's like the body is like, no, you're not whole. And so this also speaks to manifestation. You can't really create anything that is sustainable, that you are happy in, if a part of you is missing, right? And when a part of us is missing, we usually have feelings of unworthiness. So we get in relationships, but we have this feeling of not being worthy of love, or being loved, or being loved. And so it just feels uncomfortable, and it feels like we're just pretending, right? Yeah, you are in a relationship with somebody, but deep down you're feeling like maybe you're not worthy of love. Maybe you're not lovable. Why is that? Because somebody taught you to not love yourself. Somebody taught you to look for love outside of yourself, to look for validation outside of yourself, to look for a sense of self-worth from someone else, to not to get to know who you are as if you only exist to please other people. And have you ever noticed, no matter what you do to please someone, whether that's a coworker, whether that's friends, family members, whoever, they don't really accept you for who you are, no matter what you do. So you see certain behaviors out there, right? Oh, this person acts like this. This is how they are. And they get a lot of love. Let me do the same thing because I want some of that love, right? And you do the same thing. So you please people and they accept you at first. But deep down, they know that that's not who you really are. Because we all innately know we can tell truth and untruth. So, non-truth. So when you are attempting to be different than you are, the people that you are being like that to, at a deep level, at a subconscious level, they know, they can tell that you're not being authentic. Mind you, you are doing this so that you can be approved of, that you can be part of the group. They accept you at first, and then they begin to change their mind about you. Yeah, right? So that doesn't make sense. And in a way, it makes sense because you can't be someone that you are not and be accepted, like, sustainably. We are all here to show up through the truth of who we are and to be comfortable, to be secure in our own bodies. The soul and the body works together to remind us not to forget our truth. But it's not always easy to change who you are being, but it's worth it. Yeah, some people may not like you when you begin to work on yourself, but it's important that you strip away what is no longer working for you. We are not here to be programmed to be something else. And this world is set up to make us forget who we are and to operate from programs from outside of ourselves. At a spiritual level, we have a lot of resources that we can begin to tap into when we start healing what isn't our stuff. So part of the spiritual work that I do is I work in the Akashic Record, which is an energetic database, and it houses everything that you've ever been through, all the traumas, all the dramas, and it also houses the knowledge of who you are at soul level. So we are all unique and different, right? God created us all to be individuated parts of themselves, itself, himself, whatever you identify with, so that we can express our unique individuation so that it can understand more of itself through a unique energetic signature that is you. You can't be replicated. Every one of us that's on this planet right now is unique. So we hold a unique code of the divine, and we're here to express that unedited and, authentically. And so when we edit ourselves and allow other people to tell us who to be, then we are effectively disowning our own truth, because we're not being who we are. We're not being the truth of who we are at a deep level, at a soul level. This is a time. Hi, Mike Takere. Will, thank you for joining. I hope I didn't butcher your name. But yeah, so we are here to live our truth and not to come from negative programs. And how do you know you have a negative program? It's like we all have lenses that we see life through, right? When you see someone, you are going to probably judge them in your mind based on how you feel about yourself and what life has taught you to be. So if you used to be around people that like judging people all the time, you picked up that trait to kind of judge people, right? Unconsciously, but it's just like comes up. And it's like, by the time you notice that you just judged someone or judged yourself for whether doing something or not doing something, achieving something or not achieving. So by the time you realize that you just made a judgment, it's like too late. You already judged. But there's no such thing as too late. It's never too late to begin stripping away programs that are not your own, programs that were instilled in you, to see yourself as, for example, in my case, I was programmed to believe that I wasn't good enough, and some other stuff that I went through. And so it wasn't until I was like 22 that I decided to strip away everything that wasn't mine, because I noticed that it only got louder in my head. All the negative programs and the feelings that I felt with these thoughts that kept coming up every day. And especially in the morning, like I'll just have a negative thought. Like right before I wake up, it's almost like these thoughts and feelings were fighting for their existence through my body. Like right before I wake up, you're a piece of shit. You're not good enough. You can't achieve that dream. You know, stuff like that. And it truly felt horrible. And I didn't understand why I was feeling the way that I was feeling until I started to really question what I was feeling and the thoughts that were coming up. You know, I started asking questions like, am I really that bad? Like, is there something really wrong with me? And then a thought started popping in my mind when I started to, I think it was like maybe the third day, I started questioning these thoughts. Like, as they popped up, I'm like, it's almost like I felt obligated to feel the feelings, the negative feelings and the negative thoughts that were coming up. It was like an unconscious obligation to like experience these, whether I wanted it or not. And so when I started to question them, it was like, wait a minute. So I was kind of like, I began to not identify with what I was feeling because it didn't feel good. And when something doesn't feel good, that's an indicator that you're supposed to feel good. You're supposed to feel safe in your own body. And you're supposed to be loved. You're supposed to feel love and all the beautiful expressions of the divine, you know, the energies of the divine. And so the voice that began to pop in my mind every time that I questioned the negative thoughts was, no, there's nothing wrong with you. The first time I heard that, I cried because I had been holding on to certain programs that were not my own. See, you gotta understand, your subconscious mind is like a supercomputer. It takes in everything that you think, that you feel, and that you tell it. If you don't program your own subconscious mind, there's a high chance that you are coming from someone else's program unconsciously. And, you know, it's not to say that when you have a program from someone else that they did that on purpose. They probably wasn't even aware that they're programming you to feel and think less about yourself. And like I mentioned, this world is set up to keep us in limitation, to keep us severed from our power. But 2025, this is the year that we are all being asked. We've been asked for many decades to wake up. But people, no matter what's going on, some people don't want to wake up, and that's okay. You know, we all have our own timeline of healing. But how can you tell? How can you tell that you are ready to heal? How can you tell that your body is ready to let go of something that it has been holding on for so long? You feel it, and it becomes louder. So back to when I was 22, the programs that I was programmed with started to get really loud in my head and in my body. And I started to feel even more like a piece of shit, you know? Because those are the thoughts that I was feeling when I woke up in the morning. And like right before I go to bed at night. So that lets you know the power of those two times. Before you wake up, like right before you open your eyes, and before you go to bed at night. This is why people program their subconscious at those two times. It's because it's been proven. And it's really true. Like, if you have something positive that you're listening to, like right before you wake up, before you even look at your phone, or you begin to say good things about yourself, you're priming your day so that you can be in a solid, good foundation. So when you go through your day, you're experiencing good things after good things, you know, and you begin to feel good about yourself. But if you let these thoughts that just unconsciously come up, they kind of like drive you, and they drive your day. And so effectively keeping you hidden from your own power, from getting to know what your truth is. This is what the media is about. Fear, drama, propaganda, anxieties, you know, all of the lower negative feelings, negative energies of expression. Hi, Brenda McClellar. Thank you for joining. Thank you. So the way that you tell that you are ready, you can feel it. And also, energy healing helps a lot. It helps the body breathe. Right? Before you begin to do your reprogramming, when you do energy healing, it's like you're really giving relief to your body so that it can relax and begin to sort of let go of the grip that it has to the negative programs. And then that's such a great time for you to begin to think about what it is you want to be putting in your body, in your subconscious, right? At first, reprogramming the subconscious and really your whole spiritual concept of yourself is not easy, because you've been operating in one particular operating system for a number of years. And so now when you are here where you're like, okay, I've been having this thing that keeps coming up, it's time for me to kind of, dig deeper and heal this. Your body's gonna fight you, actually. Even though it wants relief, I know it doesn't make sense, but your body's gonna fight for its limitations, because it has gotten so comfortable in that programming. It's gotten comfortable with reacting. It may even have an alarm. Oh, it's 6:30. You're about to go to work, but before you do that, don't forget, you're not good enough. That's messed up. And then right before you go to bed at night, you just have these thoughts about what happened at work and like how you felt, and then you're feeling that. So you are like kind of reaffirming and like, reprogramming your subconscious with what happened. And so when you wake up in the morning, you wake up in a negative feeling already. And so it goes until you're like, no. I'm gonna be in the driver's seat now and reprogram everything that is not okay to me. You're supposed to feel good in your body. You're supposed to be free in how you are feeling. So when you are feeling any of the negative feelings that come up out of nowhere, and you're reacting to the circumstances and situations that are coming up in your life, you are reacting in a negative way, that's an indicator that you are ready to heal. I love helping women step into their power, and even men, because I don't only help women, I help people that are ready to heal. So on March 8th, we are doing our first ever Divine Feminine Womb Healing and also Divine Feminine Activation webinar, completely for free. The link is in the bio if you are interested to begin to tap into your own power, because I'll tell you, not a lot of women know their power. We've been programmed to come from really negative feelings and negative programs, especially in our womb. There's a lot of fear there. There's a lot of guilt, and there's a lot of shame. It is not supposed to be that way. There's power in every woman, but we've been programmed to suppress that and to even, get away from anything that's going to help you. We've been programmed to anything that is like, it doesn't fit with an authority figure's beliefs. I'm speaking of like, the church and stuff. I grew up Catholic and I was majorly programmed in that religion until I started questioning things. But society has taught us to shrink ourselves. Society has taught us to compete with other women, to put other women down, to judge them, to judge them for how they look, to judge them on how they feel about themselves. If you see someone that is awakened and they have tapped into their divine feminine energy, you gotta understand it's very powerful, but it can be triggering if you're not ready to see someone that's like free in how they express themselves. You're supposed to be free in your feelings, your emotions, and in what you choose to create. You are also supposed to be free. You're supposed to be free in expressing your sexual energy. It's very powerful. But we've been programmed that, oh, that's negative. God forbid you talk about Kundalini energy. Oh my God. But there is power in you. And you can feel it, especially, so I talk about this. You don't call anything into your consciousness that you're not ready for. How do you know you're ready to heal? One, I mentioned, your body begins to send these thoughts and feelings and negative programs in your mind as an indicator of what isn't aligned with who you are, right? Some people just look at that and be like, oh, that's just how it is. Life sucks. That's a program. That's one. But if you're a woman, you begin to see, synchronicity. Like you think about healing yourself, and there's a video about feminine wound healing. There's dark feminine energy. I see a lot of those on here. There's mindset reprogramming. There's, identity shifting, whatever. So you call these things to yourself when you are ready, at a spiritual level, at an unconscious level. But you gotta understand, your body is going to fight you. Yeah, you called this, that's great, but guess what? Maybe it's not all that. So let's scroll, let's, whatever. So it will use whatever it can to distract you, to postpone the healing, because it's not the right time. But when is the right time, right? So you never call anything into your consciousness that you are not ready for. Yeah, you may actually call something into your consciousness and not choose it. That's okay. That is the beauty of free will. You're not obligated to go with it. But if you're truly done with your current level of self-expression and how you are showing up, and you call something into your consciousness, there's gonna be an interest in the back of your consciousness, your mind. You're like, yeah, I've been actually thinking about doing this. I've been interested in to begin tapping into this just to see what happens. And then you begin to take little steps. Doesn't have to be a big jump, little steps. And so the more you take little steps, you're conditioning your subconscious to be okay, this is something new that I'm introducing into my consciousness. Begin to be aware of this and begin to be comfortable with these little steps that I'm taking, because I am choosing now. I am choosing what I want to experience. So you are telling your subconscious, begin to be comfortable with this. The more you begins to be comfortable with what you are doing, the more the negative program begin to dissipate. But I will tell you, before it completely goes away, it's going to fight for its existence in your life and in your body. So it's just gonna amplify everything that it's been telling you right before you wake up in the morning. It's going to amplify the negative feelings and the negative thoughts that just pop up out of nowhere. The judgment of yourself or other people. It's going to use every tactic in its book to try and stop you. But the more you expose yourself to healing content and things that are going to help you, then it's like you are kind of getting away from the old and tapping into the new mindset, the new energy, expression and experience of yourself and what you want to create for yourself. So for both men and women, I do the Akashic Record Reading, where you find out what patterns of choices you are currently engaged in that are creating what you're creating in your life. Sometimes we just react like I mentioned, or we're creating something over and over again. We are in the same relationship, different people, but similar patterns. Same thing for money. It's we can never get ahead. There's always something, right? And so when you get the Akashic Record Reading done, this is where you find out, okay, how am I creating this? What happened? What is the root cause? What happened when this took root in my life? What is the story and who else was involved when I created this? You get to find that out, right? And sometimes it's ancestral, but we don't know. We don't have conscious awareness that, it's actually this pattern that you have is actually not even yours. You are carrying it on and, you're being faithful to it, but you didn't create it. And sometimes it comes from past lives where, we have certain karma with some people because of a situation that happened. And so that kind of energetically follows us, and we're just we're oblivious to what's happening until you get your reading and find out, okay. And then the beauty of that, you get to clear any and all negative energetic patterns that are keeping you subconsciously hidden to yourself. Any and all negative programs that are perpetuating what you don't want to be experiencing. All the unworthiness, problems or issues, and then also just feeling like you're not good enough to have the life that you want. Those are lies. Or at least they've served their purpose. You get to decide as a conscious being, a powerful being of light that's here to create their lives exactly as they want. But you have to find out who you are then, right? right? Because if we are all unique and different and we are individuated expressions of the divine, the all, the one, God, the universe, there has to be a way to find out what your energies are and how you are actually made to show up. So in the records is also where you find out how you can express yourself in a way that is aligned to you. Because I'll tell you, not every manifestation processes that's out there is for everybody. Some people thrive with the 369 method. Some people fail, or like nothing happens when they do that, especially when they do it for like 21 days or like whatever the recommended days that one is supposed to do that. People don't, most people they don't receive what they want. Yeah, there could be some movement energetically, because even though you are doing that, yes, you are beginning to program your subconscious mind. But if it's not aligned to your unique energetic expression and how you're supposed to show up, it's like, yeah, your subconscious is going to begin to like let go of certain things that are not working. But it's going to be hard because there's a misalignment there. You may begin to feel a little bit of shifts, but that's about it. It's because everyone has their own unique energy expression, and how they manifest is also different. What do I mean? So take, for example, people that love being, extroverts. Yeah, people that love being out and like shining their light and being happy and like everybody loves them, and they're very magnetic in that way. A person that is not made to show up that way, but a mentor tells them, you need to go network, put yourself out there. I don't care how you feel, just do it. And they go do it. They're actually effectively blocking themselves and introducing resistance to their own divine soul blueprint. So a person that is actually created to manifest as a group, and they go off by themselves and begin to manifest like, in the comfort of their own home, they're not going to see the result, the impact that they are looking for as profoundly as if they were out in the world. Why? Because some of the energies in their body that are actually created to be around people and interact with other people's energetic field for divine connection, they're not going to be able to express that so that they can attract aligned connections to them that are going to help them, enhance their manifestation process, or like, create a beautiful business. But if they stay hidden away, yeah, they might see maybe, begin to see a little movement, but they're just going to be frustrated. There's nothing else happening. It's because they are not using their divine energy to be out so that other people can feel their field and choose to come to them or not. So that's just one example. There are many, many examples. I'm trying to think of one other example about this particular topic. So yeah, here it is. Did you know that how not everyone manifests better because they're being nice to other people? Some people are made to, how they treat themselves is exactly how the world is going to treat them. And other people are actually literally created, how they treat other people is exactly how the world is going to respond to them. So it's not one size fits all, like I said, because we're all unique and different. And knowing that information is very, very helpful. I've seen so many people succeed just from changing one energy in their divine soul blueprint, how they showed up. Things began to move because now it's like they're opening up energy in their lives in a way that is aligned, and it feels like breathing. You begin to attract divine force energy rather than creation from dissonant energies that don't match who you are. The Akashic Records is an invaluable resource that can really open your eyes to who you are at a deep level and how you are creating your life. And you get to see whether how you are being, how you are creating is working for you or not. And the beauty of it is that because it holds the knowledge of your soul and everything that you've ever experienced, whatever shows up for you, you get to confirm with me that yes, that happened. I don't have to tell you about your own life. You know what happened to you, what you went through. All the experiences that you went through are in your Akashic record, and we get to find out where a block started. But if you started from a previous lifetime, it always has similar patterns to what's happening in your life. I can't tell you how many clients say, yeah, that happened when I was like 19. This happened when I was 5. And yes, this happened when I was 32. You know, you get to tell me whether what we just found out in your record is true or not. This is what differentiates me from other practitioners. You can go to anybody that does Akashic Record Reading. Some of them will be like, yeah, so I'm seeing everything and this is, they're not going through what is, concrete. They are bringing up surface level stuff, like something that can be guessed. I only say that because I've been through this too. But the way that I do it is such a structured approach and reading that you actually get to understand what is happening at a soul level. So I offer that both. Hello Danielle, welcome. Danny, thank you for joining. So you get to understand exactly how your life is playing at a spiritual level, and you don't have to listen to what's going on outside of your own life, because now you have the awareness of who you are and how you are aligned to show up. And then you begin to have confidence to be yourself. You begin to not care whether someone likes you or not, because it's not about that. It's not about pleasing someone outside of yourself. It's about having a sacred relationship with yourself and being okay with who you are. Therefore, stepping out into the world with a core understanding of what it means to be you. I am not a fan of people programming other people on how to be, for example. But if it does work, if it does help someone, then that's great. Do it. Like, if it works, please do it. But if someone tells you, oh, you need to do XYZ because I'm an expert and I'm telling you how to be, if you want to be, for example, the it girl, this is what you're gonna do. To me, that has certain feelings and a tonality of ego behind it. But you know what the Akashic Record does? It reveals the truth of who you are. Therefore, you are not just operating from the mental body. You're not operating from ego. You're not feeding your ego with this inflow of energy that seems great, but maybe actually coming from dissonant energy instead of vital force energy. Your Divine Soul Blueprint tells you the energy of your soul. And so you don't have to listen to anyone. When you get an Akashic reading done, it's such a structured and detailed reading, the way that I do it anyway, that you begin to see just how much you've been programmed to be something other than yourself, something that is not who you really are at soul level. And you begin to see how you are perpetuating certain patterns of choices, whether this is mental, emotional, or even the way you carry yourself, or what you choose to listen to. Because certain limiting patterns that are embedded in us, and especially in the subconscious, they sort of kind of have to fight for their existence. And so they'll remind you. Because they are there, it's almost like anytime a limiting thought or emotion comes up out of nowhere when you're doing something mundane, it's almost like they're saying, hey, don't forget about me. Don't abandon me. You created this at some point. Let's experience me, right? And sometimes it's like we feel like we have no choice but to react and to feel negatively about ourselves because we're being suggested to feel that by the negative programming. But there's another way. You don't have to buy into the limitation of your mind, your subconscious mind, and other programs that may be embedded in your subconscious. And so this is the beauty of the Akashic Record Reading. It bypasses every program and goes straight to the truth of who you are. Now, here's something I'll mention here. If someone has been comfortable for a long time with expressing themselves in the same way, defensive and maybe being a victim or blaming other people, whatever, if that has helped them get what they want for a long time, do you think they're gonna embrace the energies of who they are really at the first time? Like, I have clients that sometimes kind of fight me on what I find in their Akashic record. I'm like, hey, by the way, this thing that's happening started here. And, we get the story, we get who else was involved when this was created. So they get the conscious understanding of what it is that they did, so that they don't have to keep reinforcing, the same pattern over and over again. Great. Now, when it comes to like who they are, like their divine soul energetics, how they're designed to show up, whether that's with themselves or with other people or even manifestation. At first they'll be like, yeah, no, how come I've never heard of this? Because what's out there is watered down versions of something that's deeper. Like I've had readings from practitioners that were like surface level. After I did my own Akashic Record reading, like a detailed reading, the way that I do it, I got some readings and it was like something that somebody can guess. It was like guesswork and like nothing really profound. So if someone comes to me and they are already determined of what the Akashic Record reading is supposed to look like, they'll fight me. That's okay. I don't hold anything against them. I just tell them, try it out. If I'm wrong, please come tell me. But try this out, because I'm seeing this pattern you keep creating over and over again, yet you keep coming to me saying you want change. Please try it out or not. Nothing against you. This is your life. You are here to be however you want, however you choose to be. I'm not here to tell you how to be. And so when they get the Akashic Record reading done and then they actually implement, within a week, I can't tell you how many people come to me like, wow, yeah, this changed, and then this person, called me back, and I received this amount of money in the mail. I'm like, yeah, so you understand now, right? You can continue to show up as yourself to begin to change your own life in a way that is aligned to you. And so, hello, welcome, thank you for joining. So that's what the Akashic Records do. I help both men and women. But on March 8th, we are hosting our first ever Divine Feminine Activation webinar, 1 p.m. Mountain Time. So if you're a woman on here and you want to find out what the Divine Feminine is and how you can heal yourself and how you can heal your womb so you can tap into your divine power, I would love for you to join. This is going to be really transformative. But if you're a man and you are interested in finding out what the Akashic Records are, just DM me Akashic and I'll know that you are interested, and we can talk more about what it is and we can go from there. That's if you are on a healing path and if you are ready for it, because it is really transformative work. Some people literally, sometimes they can't handle it. And that's okay. But if you're just like curious, and you don't have to get the reading, if you're just like curious about it, I encourage you to DM me and then I'll let you know what it is and we can, go from there. So thank you so much for joining. Oop, my phone's dying. I will be back tonight this afternoon around 4 p.m. Mountain Time, Arizona time. So thank you so much. I appreciate you joining me and I will see you later. I'll be back tomorrow as well, same time. Thank you. Later. I'll be back tomorrow as well, same time. Thank you. Later. I'll be back tomorrow as well, same time. Thank you. Later. I'll be back tomorrow as well, same time. Thank you.